Hello there, I'm Kafi Khan and welcome back to my Android tutorials. In today's video, we'll be talking about menu items. So what is a menu? Menu is exactly what it sounds like. It is an option to perform some action. So let's create some menu items. Let's start a new project. Let's call our project, say, menu tutorials. So menu tutorials. Let's hit the next button. Again, we're gonna keep a minimum SDK as 15. Why? So that we can run our application on almost 100% of the devices running Android in the world. Let's hit the next button. Let's start with an empty activity. And let's call our first activity as main activity. Well, Android Studio is building our project, so let's wait. Well, the project's built and it's ready to go. So, to define a menu item, we need to define a menu.xml file. So let's do that. So coming to app, resources, let's create a new directory here. So new directory, let's call it menu and let's hit the OK button. Again, right click on the menu directory, new menu resource file. Let's call it menu_main activity. So menu main activity.xml. Everything looks good. Let's hit the OK button. Let's switch to text mode. So everything's ready. So let's define a first menu item. So item, let's define the title. So title, and to define title we'll need a string. For that, let's define a strings.xml. So okay. So let's define a string. Let's call it, say, string and str user profile. Let's call it user profile. Let's define another string and let's call it share. Okay, so str share. Well, the strings are ready, so coming to our XML file. Okay, let's use the string here, so which was str user profile. Similarly, let's define an ID. So let's call it menu user profile and we're good to go. Let's add another. So item, let's give it a title. So str share, let's give it an ID. So menu and share. Okay, our menu items are ready. So coming to our main activity.java. So to render this menu items, we need to implement a function. Let's do that. So on create options menu, let's define a menu inflator here. So menu inflator, let's call it inflator is equal to get menu inflator. So menu inflator is just like layout inflator. So what it does is it helps you to inflate the menu items. Okay, so let's use this inflator now. So inflator.inflate r.menu and menu main activity, and let's pass the menu instance here, which is menu. So as you can see this line, it's just like a layout inflator. So layout inflator.inflate, and you provide the layout and the view group. So it's just like that. And let's just return true, because this function requires a boolean return type. Okay, so let's run our application and see. Well, our application's running, so let's have a look. Okay, as you can see these three dots, let's click on it and we can see our two menu items, user profile and share. So when I click on it, nothing happens. So let's define the on-click listeners for these. So coming back to our main activity.java. So for defining the click listeners, we've got another function. So let's implement that. So on options item selected. Okay, so let's define a switch case here because we've got multiple menu items. So switch item dot get item ID. So we are switching on the basis of menu item ID. Okay, let's define the case. So for the ID, so r.id, and the ID was menu user profile. Okay, so let's generate a toast here. So toast dot make text. Let's pass the context. So main activity dot this. Let's pass the string. So let's say clicked user profile. Let's provide the duration. So length short, and let's call the show function. Well, and this function returns a boolean type. So let's return that. So return true. Similarly, let's define the case for our share. So case r.id menu share. Let's define a toast for this as well. So toast make text context, which is main activity dot this. Let's provide the string. So clicked share. Let's provide the duration. So length short, and let's call the show function. And just like above, let's return a boolean. So let's say true. Now let's define a default case, and we're just gonna use this one here. Well, our click listeners are ready, so let's run our application and see. Well, our application is running, so let's have a look. Okay, so when I click user profile, it shows clicked user profile. Let's try clicking share. Well, it shows clicked share. And now as you can see, our menus are hidden with this dot dot dot. So what if I want my menu item to be visible on the screen all the time? So let's try that. So coming to our menu XML file. So we've got another attribute, show as action. So we've got multiple options here, always, collapsed, if room, never, with text. So let's say if room. So if there is enough room to show our menu item, then it would be visible, or else it would be hidden. Okay. Similarly, let's define it for share. Show as action, if room. Let's run our application and see the difference. Well, our application is up and running, so let's have a look. As you can see, both of our menus are visible here, and they're working fine. Okay, so now no one uses these text menus anymore. So let's replace this text with icons. Okay, so when I need icons, I go to Android Asset Studio, and they've provided multiple options. So we're gonna generate an action bar generator. Okay, and let's use this one for user profile. Let's customize a bit. Okay, so we need a custom theme. Let's set it white, or let's make it black. Okay, so let's just download it. Let's open the file. Okay, and here as you can see, we've got multiple folders. So drawable HDPI, MDPI. So this HDPI, MDPI, these represent your screen density, so screen size. So MDPI is for medium size screens, HDPI is high resolution screens, XHDPI is extra high resolution screens. So basically MDPI you use for small phones, HDPI for phablets, XHDPI for tablets, etc, etc. So let's open the HDPI. Well, let's copy this and paste it in our drawables. So Control C, coming to our drawables here, and let's paste it here. Okay, similarly, let's get another icon for the share. So clip art, let's search. Okay, this one looks good. Okay, let's download it. We've got another R, so let's open it. Okay, so resources, HDPI, and let's copy paste it in our drawables. Okay, so coming back to our project and menu.xml. So let's just add the icons here. So icon, the name of our icon was IC action account box, and for the share it was icon IC share. Okay, so let's run our application and see the changes. Well, our application is running, so let's have a look. Well, now as you can see, the text is gone and we can see our icons here. So if I click on this, it shows user profile, and if I click on share icon, it shows click share. So that's all for menus. If you have any doubts, any queries, feel free to drop a comment and we'll go through it. Have a great day. Bye.